Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel and welcome to Black Ops 6 Season 1. What we're going to be doing here today is reviewing everything that we have access to in the multiplayer at the launch of Season 1, talking about the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. And let's kick things off here with the multiplayer maps, because the universal bit of feedback that everyone seems to agree on with this game is that the launch maps are not good. We don't know what the hell happened to Treyarch, but the maps that we got at launch for Black Ops 6 were downright horrendous pretty much, with a few exceptions. I would say the Payback, Subsonic, and Skyline are pretty good maps, but the rest of them are average to bad. It could be argued this is one of the worst map pools that we've ever had for the launch of a Call of Duty game. Well, here was Season 1, apparently they heard that feedback because right away they dropped 3 brand new maps, 2 of them specifically designed for 6v6, and one of them being a really weird face-off map that of course can also be played in 6v6, and I've gotta say, what the hell happened? What is going on with these multiplayer maps right here? Because the two maps, the two main core maps that we got here, Extraction and Hideout, they play nothing like the other maps that we had at launch. Where were these maps at launch? Because so far, my very early first impressions of the Season 1 maps are that these maps are solid. Like, these are way better than a lot of the maps that we got with the launch of the game, which begs the question, did Treyarch steal these from Sledgehammer Games? If you guys don't remember, back towards the end of the Modern Warfare 3 lifecycle, a bunch of industry insiders and leakers and news sources were claiming that a bunch of the post-launch maps for Modern Warfare 3 were being taken by Treyarch to use within Black Ops 6. Here we see from Charlie Intel, rumors have suggested that Modern Warfare 3's final seasons have a lower amount of new 6v6 maps because Treyarch reportedly has taken Sledgehammer Games' maps for Black Ops 6 post-launch seasons. It's probably why Season 5 and 6 now only had 1 to 2 maps and more variants instead. I definitely noticed that within Modern Warfare 3, and I think a lot of other people did as well. And while I was praising Sledgehammer Games for how good their post-launch support was, one of the best parts of the post-launch support of Modern Warfare 3 were how good the original multiplayer maps were. The game launched with 16 remakes, and every single post-launch map pretty much was good. Like, there was a couple exceptions, but by and large, most of the original maps that Sledgehammer Games made for Modern Warfare 3 were fantastic, and apparently, reportedly, Treyarch stole some of them and they're putting them here into Black Ops 6, and I can kind of see that because Extraction, for example, is so different than any other map that we have within the game. Hideout also plays incredibly different. Heirloom is weird, man. I really don't even know what to make of it. So basically this map is just a giant square with these weird circular structures in the middle. Of course, we're in a museum, and it causes for some really weird cover. It's unlike any other Call of Duty map that I've ever played. Of course, it's still a face-off map. It's a meat grinder map, essentially. You're just going to run around and get kills and whatnot, but it's weird. The map is so tiny, and with how it's designed, SMGs and stuff like that don't even feel very good because everybody kind of goes to the center square and then waits for the other team to start peeking more or less. It's a really weird way to play the map, but again, it's face-off. If we go back to Extraction and Hideout, however, Extraction looks and probably is like it's going to be part of the new big map for Warzone, but it plays really well. It's that nice middle ground between like a medium to large size map where you're not always looking for the other team. I would say this is one of the bigger maps in the game. Of course, I'm not here, measuring out the meters or anything like that, but just after playing it for a bit and trying out different game modes, Extraction does feel like a medium to large size map, which is kind of more akin to what we used to see in games like the original Black Ops, the original Modern Warfare 3, and of course Black Ops 2. Hideout I have not played nearly as much of so far. It's kind of like this giant rectangular map. It's a very long map. It's not very wide. There's not a ridiculous amount of flanking routes or anything like that, but there is a lot of weird verticality. So far, I'm not the biggest fan of Hideout, but I definitely like it so far more than a lot of the launch maps that we got here with Black Ops 6. It's so weird. Like, maybe it's just that honeymoon phase where we're trying out a brand new map and the brand new map feels good because we've got a couple of kill streaks or whatever. That's entirely possible. These are early first impressions, obviously. With skill-based matchmaking, it's so hard to review COD anymore. I've talked about that in the past, but it's so true. Like, with 10 very distinct, separate skill-based matchmaking brackets, my experience with these maps may be completely different than your experience with the maps. I see some people out there claiming that, like, Protocol, for example, is one of their favorite maps in the game, whereas every time I play Protocol, I hate that map. It has so much forced, weird verticality, doesn't really have great flow. Lowtown has, like, negative flow somehow, even though the map's covered in water. Like, a lot of the maps in the game for me feel terrible, whereas other people, they say they feel really good. Maps that I personally like, other people seem to hate. Like, no one can seem to agree on the maps in this game, and a big part of that, and a big part of why it's hard to review anything Call of Duty related anymore, is because skill-based matchmaking essentially has us all playing different versions of the game. It's freaking weird, but so far, these maps are a lot better to me than a lot of the launch maps that we had with the launch of the game, which is pretty freaking crazy. Something else that's pretty crazy is, for some reason, all of your Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 double XP tokens appeared within Black Ops 6 today. Treyarch stated that this was not supposed to happen initially. Before the game came out, they said that all this stuff was not going to carry over, so likely this is a bug, but of course people are using them while they can. We don't know as of right now whether or not Treyarch is going to remove all of these tokens, but at least for right now, they're all available within the game, which is definitely going to make people prestige a lot faster, level up their guns faster, and of course, get through the Battle Pass faster. And speaking of the Battle Pass, let's go ahead and talk about that next. The new Battle Pass is actually pretty interesting and flexible. The rewards themselves are solid. I don't think a lot of this is really anything to write home about. There are a couple of really cool weapon blueprints here, but how you can approach things in this Battle Pass is actually pretty nice. So after getting a certain number of tiers done on one page, you can then skip to the next page. This allows you to quickly get the content that you want as compared to slowly going through every single page, but it's still going to take you a while. The new submachine gun, for example, you'll need to get a total of 14 tiers as you skip your way up to page 3, and then you have to complete all of page 3 and you'll have the new SOG submachine gun. And after you do that, you'll need to get a total of 15 more tiers and skip your way up to page 6, where you complete all of that and then unlock the new Krieg assault rifle. Unlike in previous years, I don't believe there is a way to cheese this. Previously in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3, if you had a friend or even just knew somebody who had the new guns, they could drop those guns for you in either DMZ or zombies, and then when you exfilled with those guns, you could keep them permanently. I don't think there's a way to cheese that here within Black Ops 6, but you can, however, play with the new guns in a private match if you want to test them out, and funnily enough, a number of locked bits of content are also able to be played with within private matches. Things like the Shadow Green Perk 2 are available in private matches, despite not being available until an event that's going to be coming out later on in the season, and you can even mess around with the hand cannon in a private match, despite it not yet being available within the Black Ops 6 multiplayer. And one thing I'd like to point out here is you can in fact inspect the hand cannon, which is pretty cool, honestly. It's basically just the same hand cannon that we've seen in previous Call of Duty titles, but it's a mid-tier score streak, and it's a powerful score streak. It's almost always guaranteed to get you a bunch of kills, so when that comes out with the hit list event, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play around with. Today also brought a brand new update to the game. There's a link to the full patch notes down there in the description if you guys want to read it for yourselves, but to quickly summarize what they did today without going into the nitty-gritty of everything, supposedly they worked on spawns on various maps in the game. Voice chat, especially in Search and Destroy, is apparently going to be working properly now. Assault rifles should now always be a one-hit kill in hardcore. The compact submachine gun should now be a one-hit headshot in hardcore. Both shotguns received a buff to their slug attachments to allow them to get more consistent one-shot headshots. I'm glad I went through and did all the shotgun challenges before they finally made them easy to do. The AEK got a massive nerf to its rapid-fire attachment. Snipers now have less flinch by default. Footstep audio across the board has gotten slightly quieter, and there were a number of general UI improvements and bug fixes and things of that nature. There are still some bugs that persist. For example, if you go into the firing range, you still can't inspect your gun, which is really annoying. It's just one of those things that bothers me probably than it bothers other people. And something else that really bothers me, but I did see a number of you chiming in the comments, let me know about this, these special camos. What a stupid idea, and how have they not fixed this yet? So even after today's update, special camos are still only available for guns that you already have all of the military camos on. So essentially, you cannot use a special camo until you already have 100 headshots on that gun. And let's be honest here, most of these special challenges, especially the gold challenges, are not very hard to do. It might take you 3, 4, possibly 5 games to go from getting your 100th headshot to getting gold camo. So you have like 3 or 4 games there where you can actually use a special camo, and then you have gold, and you're likely moving on to another gun, or you're just going to rock your gold camo. What is the point of having like 130 special camos in the game if we can only use them for like 3 or 4 matches per gun? Like, you could go through and use them individually if you want, but then you're giving up using gold, diamond, dark spine, or dark matter. Like, what's even the point of that? It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. Special camos really need to be applied to any gun. Once you unlock them, you should be able to put them on anything like in previous Call of Duty titles, because I'm getting really sick of looking at the same 9 camos every time I level up a gun. Today's update also updated zombies, and of course now we have the Warzone integration, which I'll probably be doing a separate video on zombies, as was Warzone. But when it comes to the multiplayer, the very launch of Season 1 here, we got 3 new maps, we have the Battle Pass, we have 2 new guns, a number of UI fixes, a new patch, a new balancing update kind of went live as well. We have all that stuff. And so far, does it suck? Is it terrible? No, it's kind of the opposite, and it's weird because, again, the multiplayer maps, and it may just be the honeymoon phase, but I played a decent amount of them so far. The new multiplayer maps feel a lot better than a lot of the launch maps that we had in this game, which really does beg that question. Did Treyarch steal these from Sledgehammer, or were these originally just made for Black Ops 6 by Treyarch, and then these stolen maps are going to start showing up in Season 2, Season 3, Season 4, and onward? Yeah, we really have no idea. Of course, they're never going to come out and tell us any of that, unless, of course, we get some leaks from industry insiders, which would be really interesting. But so far, Season 1 is a breath of fresh air for Black Ops 6. The new maps are fantastic. I can't wait to unlock the new guns. I'm not buying my way through the Battle Pass or anything like that like other content creators. I'm just going to play the game, level up, keep working on my camo grind and everything, and then when I get the new SMG, I'm going to mess around with it. When I get the new assault rifle, I'm going to mess around with it. But having used them both in a private match, they do feel like they're old school counterparts. The Craig kind of reminds me a little bit anyway of the Craig that we had back in Cold War. And then when I use the SOG, of course I'm in a private match against recruit bots, who cares? I'm just like shooting the gun, getting a feel for it, you know? It took me back. It felt like I was playing Black Ops 4 again, because it has like that same iron sight, that same recoil, almost the same sound, at least in my memory anyway. Like it's a blast from the past almost, messing around with the SOG here within the Black Ops 6 multiplayer. But ladies and gentlemen, there you guys have it. There are my early first impressions so far of Season 1. Expect many more videos coming out here in the coming days, so be sure to subscribe if you guys are new around here. Thank you so much for listening. Leave your thoughts and feedback on Season 1 down there in the comments, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.